Hi guys, hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Shells, and if you love all things sewing and fashion, then you are in the right place. Now in today's video, I'm not going to be doing any sewing, but I am going to be sharing with you some of the things that I have been sewing over the last few months. And as you may be able to tell from the title of today's video, today we are going to be talking all things basic. Basics are some of the most hardworking pieces in our wardrobes, and because of their minimal aesthetic, they transcend all seasonal trends, allowing you to mix and match them all year round. I believe basics are worth the investment, whether that's time to make them or money to buy them. Before I got into any sewing, I gave myself the task of diving into my personal style a bit deeper and trying to understand what words would best describe or reflect my personal style. Now, being somebody who is sewing intentionally, part of that means I want to make pieces that I'm going to wear time and time again. I don't want to make pieces that I'm going to make today and discard of tomorrow. It has to be intentional. It has to reflect my style. It has to be something that fits in with my lifestyle. And it has to be something that I want to wear season to season and year to year. So one of the first words I came up with that I felt reflected my style was classic. I love classic pieces. I love pieces that will stand the test of time. I have pieces in my wardrobe that I've had for years, but they remain in style. Also love practicality, which is probably why I love classic pieces. Another word that I came up with was comfortable. For me, if I try something on, my first thought is, how does this make me feel? And then how I look is secondary to that. So I have to feel comfortable. And I know if I feel comfortable, I'm going to exude confidence. I'm going to feel my best. And for me, feeling my best means I'm going to look my best. And the third word I came up with was effortless. Now, no matter how long it takes me to get dressed, I don't ever like it to look like I've taken a long time to get ready. And I know that sounds crazy saying it out loud, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't like things to look too forced. I like things to just be simple and cool and breezy. I don't know if you can relate to what I'm saying, guys, but effortless is definitely a characteristic that I feel reflects my personal style. So those were the three words: classic, comfortable, and effortless. The next thing I had to do was differentiate, or more so try and get a better understanding of what is the difference between a basic and an elevated basic. And what I learned was the difference between the two lies in the details. Elevated basics can easily be defined by their great quality and design. So with elevated basics, you will often see a cutout detail, an asymmetric hem, an exaggerated sleeve. It's going to be some sort of detail which makes it a little more special and unique and elevates it from being your average and normal everyday basic. So once I figured out my style elements, and then I figured out the difference between a basic and elevated basic, I felt I was ready to start deciding on what pieces I wanted to add to my new or fresh collection of basics and elevated basics. So now we've got that out of the way, I'm going to share with you some of the basics and elevated pieces I ended up making, and also the patterns I used and my general thoughts on everything I made as well. So starting with the basics, the first piece I made for myself is the ultimate wardrobe staple, the classic white t-shirt. I will never get tired of making myself basic white t-shirts because I don't feel there will ever be a time where they are never not in style. I think style and fashion tends to vary from country to country and culture to culture, but the classic white t-shirt is one of those wardrobe staples that I feel is a universal staple in wardrobes of many women and many men around the globe. The pattern I used to create this, you may have guessed it because I've spoken about this pattern many times on this channel. It's the Vikisews Alya. I love the silhouette of this t-shirt, which is a loose fit. It also has a crew neck and the length of it comes to just about my hip length. But with the white t-shirt, like most of the basics I'm going to be showing you and my elevated basics, you can style them in so many different ways, depending on what vibe you are going for. Another thing I love about this Vikisews Alya pattern is that you can hack it in so many different ways to create different versions of a t-shirt or some other type of top, whether you make a t-shirt dress or you crop the t-shirt or you take the arms off. It's very hackable and it's also very beginner friendly. It was a no-brainer that I had to have the Vikisews Alya t-shirt in my collection of basics. And I've also shared a sew along for this pattern on my channel if you're interested in learning how to make your own basic t-shirt. Now, the next basic I made is this long sleeved striped top. As somebody who tends to shy away from prints, maybe I don't shy away, maybe prints just aren't my thing. So as somebody who's not really into prints, I feel like stripes are my alternative to that. Stripes for me are clean and simple and easy on the eye, and they work very well with solid colors, and also they can work well with other prints too. But stripes is my version of prints. I was wanting to get more into prints and add more to my wardrobe, but I don't gravitate towards prints naturally. So I don't want to force myself into prints and then I make things with prints or buy things with prints and then they just sit in my wardrobe. That's not being intentional for me. So I had to add a striped long sleeve top to my wardrobe. When I first started making these, the weather was a bit cooler, so a long sleeve was definitely a must. I love the rib neck detail that I added to this top. It just makes it a bit more elevated, but this is definitely a top I do intend to wear more casually a lot of the time. Another thing I love about this is the fabric I chose. This cotton jersey is very soft and it's light enough to wear in the cooler months, but also warm enough to wear when it gets a bit colder. So that's another thing I love. And speaking about the Vikisews Alya t-shirt previously and the fact that it's very hackable, this top is in fact a hack of the Vikisews Alya t-shirt. I just extended the sleeve and made myself a long sleeve basic, which I absolutely love. This next basic I made is a timeless addition to any wardrobe and can be worn as a layering piece or by itself for a more minimalistic look. It's this black rib knit vest. I used the Vikisews Veronica. I love that the high neckline of this vest makes it suitable for more formal occasions, but it will look just as good styled casually as well. This is definitely another basic that I would like to add in more colors as time goes on. Now, from one vest to another, it's a one-piece wonder though. It's this white bodysuit. Now, this is the only piece I'm showing in this video that isn't new. I've had this bodysuit for about 2 years, or I made this bodysuit about 2 years ago, and I absolutely love it, and I felt it deserved a spot in this video amongst some of my favorite DIY basics and elevated basics. I learned how to make this through watching a video on YouTube, and I will share the link for that video in the description box below. One of the things I love about this bodysuit, or one of the things I love about bodysuits in general, is that they can transition from day to night and season to season. Again, they are pieces that can be worn as a layering piece or by themselves, and for that reason, bodysuits are definitely worth investing in. And as I said, I've had this one for a few years now. I've definitely gotten my wear's worth out of this top. So this is a double lined basic, which I love. This was a Skims inspired bodysuit. I think bodysuits and basics have really become more popular over the last few years because of brands like Skims, but as I said, it's definitely worth investment because you will be able to style it in many different ways and you will be pulling for it season after season, year after year. And that's another reason why it's good to make sure you invest in good quality basics so that they are durable and that they will stand the test of time. And it's probably about time that I do make myself a couple more. As I said with the previous vest, I love the high neckline. I love that this one has a lower neckline, and I do feel it's important to have different variations of basics because some will be more suitable depending on what type of look you are going for. And it's the same for my white t-shirt. Whilst the one I've made is a more loose fit, I do want to add some that are more tight fitting to my collection of basics. And that brings me to the last of my basics. So we will now move on to elevated basics. And as I said before, elevated basics are easily defined by their quality and their design. So you'll notice a lot of design elements in the pieces that are coming up that make them a little more special and unique. Another thing I'm sure you've noticed is that the colors are neutral, and that's very important with basics. Keeping the colors of them neutral means that they're very easily interchangeable and versatile, and that's why you are able to create so many different looks with them, because of the simple neutral tones. Whether you're buying or making your basics, try and go for quality material. I know it may cost a bit more, but it will last you a longer time and you will get your money's worth out of them. So my first elevated basic that I made is this gorgeous white button-down shirt by J'adore for Janome patterns. I will drop the pattern details below, but what takes this white shirt from a basic white shirt to an elevated white shirt is this gorgeous cuff detail, which I love. It gives the illusion of a double cuff when in fact it is just one, and it's a very simple detail, but it just elevates this shirt to the next level, and I love this shirt. I love, love, love this shirt. I don't have a bad thing to say about it. It can be dressed up, it can be dressed down. I'll wear it in the summer, I'll wear it in the winter. It's definitely an elevated basic that is going to stand the test of time. It's timeless, it's classic, it's versatile. Everything you would want in a basic and an elevated basic, this shirt has it. The next elevated basic is this over-the-shoulder top that I made. And I was inspired to make this by scrolling on Pinterest, and I seen a top by the brand called Kate, but the price point for this top was just, it blew my mind. It was like over $1,000 for this basic, and I couldn't even fathom paying that much money for a basic top. So one of the great things about being a sewist is that you can see things, like them, and sew them for yourselves, and that's exactly what I did with this top. I'm very proud of this top also because it's a pattern that I drafted myself, and I shared a tutorial on how to make this top on my channel. So if you're interested in that, you can go and check it out. I also love that you can style this top and make it cute and casual, or you can go for a more elevated look and make it classy and elegant. So again, as a basic, it's one that can be styled in many different ways, and I love it. The next elevated basic top that I made is the Vickisews Mindy top. And yes, we all know I love Vikisews patterns, and it's because they tend to be very trendy and timeless, and I love that. Sometimes I like trends, sometimes I like to just keep it timeless. Well, most times I like to keep it timeless, but I do love dipping in and out of trends that I see and like. And I love the Vikisews Mindy top. I made it last year, but this year I switched things up a bit and I hacked it. As I said, when I first started thinking about DIY basics, we were just approaching spring. So I wanted to make something appropriate for the season, and I ended up adding sleeves to both sides of this top, which originally has an asymmetric neckline and one shoulder. What makes this top an elevated basic is the draped details over the bust area, which adds a bit more interest and elevates it, taking it from your average normal long sleeve basic top. I will also pop a picture here. Last summer I made this top as the original pattern intends, with the asymmetric neckline, and I made it in a mesh fabric, and I absolutely adore this top. I said earlier I'm not one who's into prints, but this is a print I gravitated towards when I seen it, and I didn't know what I was going to make with it initially, but when I finally seen the Vikisews Mindy pattern, I knew straight away that I was going to use this printed fabric for this pattern, and I think they work together so well. Love it, and I think it's very flattering on my body shape. I think Vikisews did an amazing job with this pattern, and it's definitely one of my favorite elevated basic patterns. Now, my last and final elevated basic that I made is this top that I have on. Now you'll see on the screen that it is in black because this is actually the version I made during a tutorial on my channel if you're interested in making this for yourself. This is another top that has been trending all over social media. It's my version, or should I say a duped version, of the invisible tank top by the Y Project. I immediately knew I wanted to make this top when I seen it. but I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and all I had for reference was a picture. So it's another top that I'm very proud of. And if I had to choose a favorite out of all of my basics and elevated basics, it would have to be this one, hands down. I love the simplicity of this top, but when I decided that I wanted to make it, I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and with just a picture for reference, I managed to pull it off and create my own version of the wide Project Invisible tank. This is another top that can be dressed up or dressed down, and I also love that I can extend the length of this and make it into a dress version, the same like my over the shoulder top. Actually, I think I want to create longer dress versions of this and that top and create some elevated basic dresses. I'm lacking in maxi dresses in my wardrobe, so I really want to add a few. I also like to add a maxi length version of a slip dress in my wardrobe as well for the summer. So I think that's 3 maxi dresses that I've now added to my list of sewing makes. Hopefully I'll get to them before the end of summer. But I love that this top is adaptable. I can adapt it in length, make a mini skirt, a midi skirt, a maxi skirt. I can definitely have fun with this. So I've also shared a tutorial on how you can make this yourself. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and give that a watch. And there we have it. That brings me to my current collection of basic and elevated basics that I've recently made for myself. If you made it this far in the video, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, comment and let me know what your favorite basic or elevated basic was, and don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the journey and to become a part of my ever-growing community, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Ooh, la, la, la.